Okay, guys, if you watched the video yesterday, um, it shows me moving all the fish outside and into their new homes. Um, I went outside this morning and I realized that um, I put a thermometer in here and the temperature was about 48 degrees. Um, I might have jumped the gun on putting this pond out here. I didn't realize it was going to be this cold. Um, I should have checked, but if you ever run into this situation, and putting the pond out is always a tough decision because you never know when the time is right. I started really kind of early. April's kind of early, but I felt like that these fish could handle the temperature. But um, 48 degrees is a little bit too low. Know what kind of fish you're dealing with. White cloud minnows can deal with 40 degrees. Is probably the lowest. Goldfish can live under 40 degrees, but um, they kind of like to hibernate, so we don't want to get them too cold where they're not, swimming around and they stop eating. We want to make sure that the temperature's right. So if this ever happens, run a heater outside. I know it's not the perfect situation to run extra cords, but um, I ran an outside extension cord, um, so it's weatherproof. And I'm just going to run this heater for 2 days so the temperature stays about 60. I got it at the lowest setting, which is about 65. And at night I'll get 40, so usually it's 20 degrees higher than what the outside temperature is. So this would be, if it goes down 40, it'll be about 60. Um, so it'll be about 60. So we don't want to get it to any, and I'll check it to make sure, but as long as we keep it at 60, we should be good. Um, Actually, this is set to 72, so that would get a little bit higher at night. That 10-degree difference. So if it's 40, it'll probably be about 60 around there, maybe 55. But like I said, we don't want to go lower than 50, and that's what we did last night. So I came out here, put a heater in there. Just make sure you have a heater on hand. You don't want to kill the fish by having it too cold in there. Like I said, the white cloud minnows will be fine. The goldfish is what I'm worried about, especially the shabunkin. Um, he could be, anything under like 55, they're going to be kind of not as active. So as you can see, if you look at the goldfish now, they're kind of at the bottom of the tank or the pond. They're not really active as I like them to. I like to be at the top. I like to see them at the top of the tank. So I'll switch plugs around too. I don't need to have as long as I got the bubble going. They got oxygen in there. Not really too worried about the uh, the filter, the bog filter that I set up. And of course, you got the carbon. I keep the carbon in case it rains, and I run carbon every now and then just to get if there's any type of um, anything that gets into the water that'll get rid of um, the whatever's in there. So it's good to have carbon on hand. I mean, especially when you have in a pond, if you can have access to it. Obviously, if you have a bigger pond, you're not going to run carbon. Some people do run carbon. You can run carbon constantly. I don't run it constantly. I just run it when I need to get it. If I feel there's any, the rain sometimes can add chemicals to the tank that you don't want, or something. Things may drop into the tank, like out of the trees or whatever, if it's you got a lot of wind and storms. So I just do it as a precaution. Anyway, just want to give you that update real quick. Like I said, if you if you put your deck ponds out too early, always make sure you have a heater on hand. You don't want to let that water get too cold. Like I said, I have some hardy fish in there that can deal with cold water, but you don't want to get it too cold. You don't want them to be uncomfortable or not survive, or not thrive outside. But I want to try. I'm going to test this, and I want to leave this pond out as long as I can this year. And like I said, I might move into the garage at the end of the season, depending on how they do out here. So that's the tip of the day. Pond tip of the day. Have a good day, guys. See you next time.